Okay, let me say, got it. Oops. Got it. Okay. So a few things. One is the wedding that all I did is I did wax and put the other stuff. I forget the name.
We did the encaustic gesso underneath. We did the white out. It looks so beautiful. It looks
Right. And then with the paper towel, it looked like lace.
yeah.
So then I don't know, do I start? I tried to smooth it out right before we met today. I could do that. And what is your thought? Do I put any color anywhere? Or do I keep it black and white?
I definitely would hand color it. I mean, that's the thing. So this is the interesting thing is almost looks like backwards because her dress is actually white, but because it's in black and white, it's gray tone and the background is white. So basically you could flip that back by painting the white a color and by painting her dress white and gray, like just
Or painting over it.
well, right. You can paint over it with, you could do another layer of encaustic. You could do an encaustic texture like a stencil, or you could just go straight to pigment sticks. You have to think about whether you want it to be, I mean, the first thing that I ask myself is, do I want it to be opaque? Or do I want it to be translucent?
Okay, I know what those two words mean, but I don't know what it means in here.
Okay, so the opaque would mean that you would use encaustic and you would put either a form like a flower or a pattern or something around her, or you could just do, if you like the way that the wax looks, you could just hand color it with the pigment stick. So there's always kind of two options. I personally would probably want to put lace in her dress with encaustic wax.
Just plain wax.
No, encaustic paint. And like, yeah.
Okay.
When we're talking about the wax, like plain wax, I usually call it medium. I call it wax medium. And that's the one that you just have in the pot that's like clear.
Right.
Okay, so we use for the base coat. That's the medium. The other ones are the paint sticks, which are opaque. So I like them as an added texture or sort of bonus to the piece.
So in this case, I would do it on her dress.
Right. I would put texture on her dress and let the background be smooth. I wouldn't do both. So you kind of need to make a decision. It's like, do you go left or do you go right? So if you're going, so your two options are to put texture on the white part, which would suggest that there was like these textured curtains. It could be more about the curtains and she could be plain, or you could make her have texture and the curtains can be plain.
Yeah, I think this already has some texture around her.
Okay, so you're thinking you would rather put texture around her than on her?
Maybe, just because then otherwise they'll both have texture.
You don't want both. You don't want both. You want one to be like noisy, one to be busy and one to be quiet so that they can bounce off of each other.
And then do I add more texture in all the white areas? Or
well, if you're thinking curtains, like let's look at what you have for stencils or fabric. If you're thinking curtains, the curtains can like come over her. She can be kind of like behind the curtains. Like think of yourself as the author and you're writing a story. Right? And so you're writing a story with art techniques instead of words.
Okay, yeah.
So your story is she's standing there. There's all this beautiful light coming from behind her. And these curtains are blowing in the wind around her. And let's look and then pick the textures or something in your studio that you think, looks like curtains.
Okay.
So it could
do that. And then later, should we do like a little bit of the color on the flowers?
Absolutely. We can color the whole thing. I mean, we can color it all. balance
And
out.
I don't know what this white, I think maybe it was from the structure.
Right, and I don't tend to worry about stuff like that. I would just go over it with a
Just
dark
keep going.
color. I would just go over it with a dark gray or a mid-tone gray, just so that it blends it out. I wouldn't
Okay.
worry about getting rid of it. Sometimes when
Okay.
you get like so determined to get rid of something, you actually cause more problems.
Yeah, okay.
So,
So that's this one.
well,
Should
let's
I
look
show
at
you
your
the other ones? I'm
no,
sorry.
let's work on this one first. What are your what are your options for stencils?
I bought a whole bunch
Okay, let's look. So
and I
I always,
just received them.
yeah,
So,
I always pull them out and lay them on the piece and just sort of get a feel for which one I like.
okay. I have like this guy. I don't know that you could see.
I love it. Yeah, of course I can see it. I like it.
Okay. Then I have like an animal print, kind of,
Yeah.
but I have circles.
Well, you know your daughter, right? And you know your style. Any of these can work. I mean, those are not exactly lacy
They're
patterns,
not, yeah.
but I don't know, you don't have to have lace. I mean, that was just an option. You could definitely
I
have,
know, I have a lot that came in, so let me show you. No, this is. Um, they're not lacy, but like.
oh, I kind of like that. I like that one on the left.
This one?
Yeah, I like that one.
Oh, okay.
Which one do you, I mean, which one do you like?
Yeah, I do. I like all of them. I think this one also is a little bit like an old fashioned.
I like that one too, yeah. And you can mix them.
Okay, so maybe, yeah, the others are a little geometric. Do you think this might be something I could do around her, or is it
Yeah,
too?
if you like it. I mean, absolutely. The thing about like curtains and any type of like embellishment like that is you're making it up, right? You basically created a space where you can now do whatever you want because you're making it up. It doesn't have to look like anything. And really you
Okay.
should feel empowered in that way that you can really you can make stuff up, right? Like you can
Yeah.
make, you could do a rhythm, you could do that long kind of like zebra looking pattern, and then you could do, a couple of the flowers. Like you can really kind of go and have fun and do whatever it like you have the impulse to do. There's no right and wrong to this.
Okay. So I'm thinking this towards the bottom.
That would be great. That could be a bottom edge of the curtain, like where it hits the floor. That's perfect. I mean, think
Okay.
of yourself as like a fabric designer, or you're designing like the textiles. Like, what would you put on there? You know?
So that, and then. So now so I'm gonna take it down.
So you can start thinking about color palette. Like maybe you really like those neutral colors. Maybe you want to start laying in the color with the encaustic paint in the stencils.
Oh, okay. I was thinking more white, but
That's fine. You
I
can
could do color
you can choose. You really can choose.
just to give it. They make these impossible to see.
Oh, the tape things.
Okay.
mean, the thing about painting in light colors is that you can always change the color with the
The
pigment.
darker.
Yeah, to darker. It wants you, but it's, you know, not as dramatic. It's like softer. It's just a different look, you know? It really is up to you though, what you decide.
Okay. So color.
I mean, maybe you want to go in a light color, like a pastel-y color.
Yeah. Like a light pink and white. Like, so in this, I'm not using this wax, I'm using the paint and I'll mix wax with it and then put on.
Right, exactly. Unless you want it, unless for some reason you want it very opaque and very solid, you're gonna mix the wax medium in. I mix wax medium in all my paints. I find the paint itself to be very, I call it stingy, that it doesn't flow nicely. So that's
with
why
the
I add
wax
the
medium,
medium.
it'll get it.
Yeah, it's like adding Crisco or bacon fat. You know, it's like it just, or butter. It just makes it flow. It expands and it kind of. It's same with like the extender stick.
Okay.
Did you pick up pink?
I'm just gonna drop the. So now I take, you know, I also had bought these brushes for stenciling.
Yeah, you
Did
can
you
try
say
it.
not to do that, maybe?
No, you can try them. Try them.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you like, yeah, why not? Give it a go.
Okay.
If you don't like them, you know, then you'll know you don't like them.
Okay.
You don't know unless you try. It could give you an interesting shape. I mean, it could also give you like a polka dotted pattern. I mean, I like it.
Okay.
I don't use those brushes. Maybe I use those brushes for stenciling with paint, but maybe not so much with the wax.
We'll see what it does here.
What do you think? Do you like the brush?
I do. It feels comfortable in my hands.
Oh, good.
But I went a little too strong. It's a little too much pink, I think.
Don't, yeah, just keep going. We've got plenty of opportunities to take it back.
Okay.
We gotta go fearless into the night.
All right.
Right?
Yeah.
Just keep going and then figure it out. Then we'll figure it out.
Sounds good. Definitely let me know.
And remember too, you can add some other colors to that pink. So for me, I would add a little bit of white to that pink. I would also add a little bit of something dark to that pink. So that's a light hue. It's like shading, toning and shading, right? So lightening it and then
And the same stroke, do both?
Yeah, I mean, okay, so look, the light is coming from behind her, right? So if it's coming from behind, most likely like it's gonna be dark on the right and light on the left. See how it's like darker on the right of the panel and lighter, like
Okay.
closer to our hands is where it's lighter, closer to the floor is where it's darker, right?
But the light's coming from her side,
It's coming from behind her. Yeah, she's standing in front of a window.
like here.
Okay, so just stay true to that direction because you're
Uh-huh.
painting and adding things.
Yes,
So when you're adding content, you want to keep the content valid to the situation that you're adding it to. So
in terms of light and dark.
exactly. So keep the light on the one side and dark on the other, consistent with what it was in the photo. And I mean, honestly, like that practice has made me a stronger painter because my photos have taught me, where the light is coming from.
So just look at that. Okay.
Yeah, notice what's going on in your photo and follow that lead. It helps you just, it just helps you stay organized.
Okay.
It creates a little bit of sense of like order, right? Because
Yeah.
really you're adding chaos, like the wax is sort of chaotic and busy. So you're sort of adding chaos, but keeping that.
So you make up for it by.
Exactly. You're kind of checking back in and compensating for what you started with. It's fine.
It's pretty chaotic right now.
That's okay, but we're gonna make it pretty. And I like that. I actually really like that stencil for the curtain. That's really nice.
So should I do the same thing on this side then?
I would, maybe that side is getting slightly lighter as it goes to that side. So maybe you're adding either more wax medium or more white paint to that side.
Okay. Yeah.
Because that would suggest like transparency or even light coming into the color, right? Because they're not blackout curtains.
Right. No.
Right. They're curtains with some type of pattern or texture.
Okay.
Love it. Good. And don't worry about, you can never like be too dramatic with like the shading and stuff, and even, yeah, love it. I love it. I love the tonal value. All right, now you're going to have to add, I would add a little piece of that stencil, like kind of above her bouquet and below her bouquet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I would do, and this is going to sound terrifying to you, I think you're going to be like, oh my God, don't make me do it. But what I think you should do is just go, like you can take a pause where the bouquet is, but really you want to go like almost right over it. And then what we'll do is we'll just scrape the bouquet back.
Okay.
But it'll, yeah. Do you know what I mean by taking a pause? Like maybe just put the wax on and then sort of lift up when you get, yeah. And then what we'll do is when we fuse
go like this, come up and go.
Yeah, but you want to get pretty close. You don't want to make it look like it's like a cutout. You want to make it look like it's part of.
Okay.
Perfect. What do you
Yeah.
think? Nice.
Should I do more?
Oh, that's beautiful. No, I don't think so. I mean, you know what you could do is you could take a smaller brush and you could just do like a little add-on at the top. I think if you try to do the stencil, it might be too challenging.
Okay,
Um,
so just do,
just take a skinny brush, exactly, and then just kind of like, yeah, connect like dot to dot, just connect those lines to the top of the panel. Yep, perfect. And just like, yeah, just lightly. Yeah, and if you see that anywhere else too that you just want to add a little bit of that.
yeah, maybe the other side a little bit. So, should I do this one here?
I would, yeah, and I would make
Make it go up higher, maybe.
where no, I like it lower. I like the bottom. Yeah, I like the bottom low, even lower. Cause look at, yeah, like there. Is now lift it up. We'll take the stencil off for a second. We take this stencil. Yeah, do you see how you kind of have an edge, a bottom edge there? I would
Yeah.
follow that. Yeah, I would do it so it lines up with that.
So
Yeah.
keep that.
No, higher, so it lines up with that edge. Yep, right there. Yep,
Okay,
yep, you got it. And then are you gonna, I would do it like a darker color. So to darken that pink, you can either add like a burgundy to it. You could add a purple to it. You could add gray to it. So there's always a
Okay.
lot of ways, there's always a lot of ways to darken the color, right? And you can
okay,
you can think like, you know, the Impressionists, they didn't use black to darken colors, they used dark colors. So they used blue
Okay.
or purple or right, that's how they darkened colors or created shadow, was they actually just used dark colors. They didn't believe that you should paint with black.
okay.
And it's up to you. I mean, I'm not an impressionist, so I always like to share, you know, the history of art, because there's always more than one way to solve a problem.
Yeah, I love hearing it.
Yeah. I mean, I live in Philadelphia, so I grew up going to the Barnes Foundation, which is the largest collection of impressionist art in the world. So
Oh,
that's always been a part of my life. Yeah, I love that. I love that color too. I mean, I really love that color. Now, a lot of the times what I'll do,
more here, you
yeah,
think?
more there. And if I use that color at the bottom there and I have it on the palette, I'm gonna put it somewhere else. So put it on the dark side, like do the bottom on the right, and then just brush some of that color into the pink that you just put on there. Randomly, like wherever you feel like it, right? And then you can fuse it.
No, I'm not thinking. I should stop.
What? You think, what's happening?
I was just like going without thinking, so that was not okay. So here she
Yeah, but
is.
that's actually fine. Going without thinking is actually kind of where you want to go. Is just, I think it's
This
good. Well, I think it's good. So now, okay, now we have to do our thing where we fuse it.
fuse.
Yep, and don't overfuse it because you don't want all that pattern to go away, right? Fuse it lightly and then let it cool for a second and then you can scrape it. So, or we can talk about the next step. How do you like it just fused? What do you think?
I just think unless I shouldn't judge it now because I took something that was beautiful and just, I feel like I may have messed up all this stuff. But maybe.
No, I mean, I actually really like it. Okay, so let's clean it up a little bit before we do anything. So the first thing you're gonna do is take like a wooden scraper, right? And you're
And
gonna,
scrape everything.
no, you're just gonna scrape the pink off of her arm and a little bit off of her dress. Just do like, yep, anywhere where it's like sort of on her body that you don't like it on her body. Just do the very simplest thing first.
You don't think I should use the metal scraper?
I feel like you just can't control that as well as, do you have like the little wooden one?
I should. Like this small?
Yeah, I would use that one. I think it's just easier to control because you're looking to do something more specific. So you're looking like just to take the paint off her arm, just off her body.
Yes.
So we're just sort of calming it down a little bit and cleaning her up, right? So a little bit of like tidying up, organizing.
Okay.
Nothing crazy, like we're not really trying to make, the art happen right now. We're just doing a little bit of cleaning up, right?
Okay, yeah. Should I remove it from the flowers too?
Yeah, if the lines went over the flowers, I would take it back, take it off.
I like scraping.
You like that tool?
Yeah, I mean, just generally, I like scraping.
Well, you have more scraper confidence than
And painting.
painting confidence. Yeah. But that's okay. I mean, now that you know, that's a good thing to sort of establish in your style. I also really like scraping. So I often paint to scrape. Like I put on too much and I put it thick so that I can scrape, because I think the art of scraping is beautiful. Okay, I mean, so I really like it. I think that the texture and the way you put the texture on is lovely. I think that if you want it to be smooth, we could make it smooth, which might be interesting. If you like it bumpy, that's fine. Do you feel like you want it to be smoother?
Not necessarily. I just like these lines feel opposite of what, but I guess it'll come together at the end.
You know what's kind of nice is they remind me almost like ribbons. They remind me of like ribbons hanging from the ceiling, like a party, like very festive, like ribbons, which I actually really like that. I feel, and I like that they're sort of random and they switch directions. I actually think they're kind of beautiful. For me, like I would wonder maybe if they're all too much the same color. So do you know what I mean? So that they need to be like individually lighter and darker. Also, like right behind her back, there's a hole. Right behind her hair at the bottom. There's I would add, I think you need to add a couple in there.
Okay.
Which I would do the same way that you did the bouquet, which is kind of go like over her hair. Yeah, and I think that'll make it look more organic, and maybe even like, think about it, if they were like ribbons, like hanging, like maybe one would be in front of her going across her dress and one would be behind her. So I think creating that fantasy, you know, part of using the wax is creating the fantasy that something else is sort of happening here.
Okay, and so you want me to think about each ribbon as I'm painting it?
Yeah, like one maybe might come over her and one might go behind her back. I think when you get closer to the figure, you kind of need to like, it's again like creating this narrative. You're telling a story.
Okay.
Right? You put her in a new environment and you're telling a story about her new environment.
Okay.
That might make it like look more, when you get closer, I feel like sometimes when you get closer to the figure, you make it more believable. Then it's not just like something added on. You want to make her look like she's part of this new story that you're telling. Yeah, much better. Yeah, much better. So I kind of like the one on her hair.
This one?
Yeah, I like it. So fuse it so it's not so like crunchy and it's a little bit smoother. I actually really like it because now I feel like she's like in this new environment. She's not just, it's not just around her, right?
Should I remove this yet?
I know, and I think that you're feeling sensitive about that. So yeah, take it off or scrape it down. And then I think we could add more in a really like even lighter color or even like a like almost a transparent color, a few more of the stencily ribbon things.
Okay.
Like instead of that, whatever that is there, I don't think we need that. I think it can go and something else can be added in its place.
Okay. Now it's come off.
Yeah, much better. Good, perfect. Now, like that space too is just, I think, an invitation to add a few more of the stencily ribbons in a very, very light, pale white. Like go the palest color you can make, like barely pink, like white and just a tiny little bit,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
A lot of this too is just about transition, like transitioning, you know, suggesting.
Well, this brush is too dark, so I'm trying to
Oh, put it in the mud, lighten it up.
clean
Yeah,
it.
remember, brush it out or, yep. You can squeeze it with a paper towel, like wrap a paper towel around it and squeeze it.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah, that should be good.
Okay. My white had some green in it.
That's okay. It's not gonna break anything.
Yeah, the paint doesn't go far, does it?
Well, no, that's why you use a lot of the medium, right? I mean, when I made those big pieces that I made in June, I mean, I use so much medium because I mean, the paint is so expensive and you know,
Yeah, and it just
I can boost
disappeared.
the color. I can boost the color in less expensive ways. So, you know, really I try to use a little bit of encaustic paint and a lot of wax medium. And then I enhance the colors with the pigment sticks. Yeah, because they're expensive,
Yeah.
but their colors are beautiful.
So we have a lighter one coming here.
Yeah, and I think that the gradient, right? So I think that, yeah, and I think the suggestion, that's beautiful. Now it's starting to sort of have some feeling. Did you fuse it?
No, I
Okay, so
didn't.
go ahead and fuse it, especially on her hair. Take your time, don't rush.
The hair I did
Okay,
before, but this one I didn't.
so I think what I would do next would be to take a little like breather on it and I would scrape it with a razor blade or if you like your silver little disky scraper, just to take some of the texture down. So it's just a little bit flatter and yeah, just not quite so
Okay.
bumpy. And I think this is hard for you because of your tremor.
This part, no, it's okay.
Okay. Okay.
The brushing is the hardest part.
Okay. Well, you did a great job brushing, so you're not struggling in that area.
I have to find a way to have my computer so when I'm working, you could see it, but
I can see you.
maybe like this table needs to be more like this.
I think if you worked around the corner of the table and left the piece there, if you worked
Like
around,
here?
yeah, and work on the piece there. Yeah, that's fine. I can totally see everything. Yep. That looks good. Yeah, it looks like your scraping technique is good.
I think the
I change
lines,
directions. When I scrape, I change direction. So I turn the panel. I turn the panel.
Oh, okay.
I scrape in more than one way, and that sometimes helps me get it smoother because I can get it from another angle.
Yeah, for sure.
How's it look?
The lines are a little too perfect.
Okay. So maybe maybe you want to remove a couple. So you could use more pressure with that tool, or you could use another tool and maybe remove a couple of the lines if that's something you're thinking about.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Like maybe every other one. Maybe it's just a little bit too crowded for you.
Uh-huh, could be.
Now, the other thing that you could do to get rid of them is, wait, stop for a second. So you always have a choice, right? So right now you're about to scrape them off, but what would be the opposite but equal action to scraping them off?
To put more wax?
To cover them, and you would cover them with probably white wax.
Should I do that?
Well, I'm asking you, like, this is really, it's like a preference. I mean,
Yeah,
you
maybe
like
because it feels too strong to me.
okay, so one of the ways that you can soften it by adding another layer of wax, because wax will soften and blur what's underneath. So if you made like a little semi 50-50 white with wax medium, it's almost like, I call it, it's like a milk wash, like milk, milk bath, where you can kind of see through it, but it's gonna definitely soften.
Okay.
And
yeah.
because you have white from behind, it's gonna look beautiful because you've got all that glowy light right from behind.
Okay.
So that might work. And don't do it like the whole thing. Do it like on a couple, like with a skin.
Oh, really? Just a couple lines?
Yeah, do it in a couple different places. Do it slowly to see if you like it. Because if
Okay.
you do it a lot, what if you don't like it?
Yeah, okay.
And you're gonna be like, all that work, right? All the work that went into making the lines will be gone. And then you'll have another problem, right? So you want to be like sort of carefully solving problems without causing more problems, right?
Right.
It's like a balancing act. It's kind of like, if I lean a little bit this way, am I gonna fall or am I gonna be better?
Okay, so I'll do, but this is too big of a brush, no?
I think it'll be fine. Just don't put all your weight on it. Just use it gingerly, like use it lightly. Yeah, and you can use it on its edge, which will make it skinny. How's that look?
I think it's better.
Oh, good. Oh, good. I'm glad. So you made a decision and you're liking the results, and I love that. So you're problem solving, and you're sort of seeing how two different approaches could have a similar outcome, but like you're just making a choice.
I mean, a little better.
No, I like it. No, I like it. And it looks smooth and it looks like or natural. And I like the white. Yep. Okay, so do a little bit on the other side too. Even though the other side is light, just do a little bit on the other side.
Yeah, the other side is pretty light.
Yeah, but that's okay, just so it feels balanced.
Obviously, I'm not going exactly on the lines because my hands won't be able to do it.
No, I wouldn't expect you to, but again, your art is gonna have a look to it because of who you are, right?
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
everybody's art is basically sort of a descriptor of how they exist physically in the world, right? So
Yeah.
that's what you want. You want the work to be autobiographical and you want it to reflect who you are. So go through your steps now, fuse it.
Okay. Now
Fuse it.
fuse it.
Yep, fuse it. Yep, and then we'll look at it. Yeah, I like it. I like it. So now my go-to would be to scrape it.
Scrape the whole thing a little bit.
Gently, yeah, gently, just to sort of blend all the layers.
It's a little smoother.
Yeah, I think it's really pretty. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think I have a long ways to go to make it better than it was, I guess. Maybe should I have some of these maybe in different places?
I think, oh, the little ones at the bottom? No, I wouldn't complicate your life with that.
Okay.
I think that if you don't, do you see this? Is there like one little wax like thing on her hair?
Here,
Is there one little bump there? That little white dot?
this
No,
or
hi.
this.
Yeah, that. Can you get rid of that?
Yeah. I'm gonna. I mean, I think my hands are dirty or the paper. I keep getting these.
So this is kind of an interesting question. It's like, for me, because of the size of the panel and because of the simplicity of the image, like I think what you added is enough. I would just go, and I mean, the only other thing you could do is possibly add like some type of ruffle or texture in her skirt, and maybe like a little bit of wax on her flowers. And then I would go to switch gears and go to pigment sticks. What do you
Okay.
think about that? Like, you know her
Yeah.
dress better. Like, did she have a lot of tooling on her dress? Did she have lace in her dress?
Yeah, she had lace at the bottom here.
Okay, so why don't you, do you have anything lacy?
I'm trying to think. Mm, I have this lace, but I think you said it.
Oh yeah, I like it. No, I like it. I like them both. Do you think that, have you waxed with that lace before?
It looks like it, but I have no recollection.
Okay, so what I would do with that lace is I would put it on the hot plate and make sure, see if it loosens up on the hot plate. I feel like that looks like stiff, so maybe there was wax in it. And if there was wax in there, you
There
should
was.
clean it. So yeah, leave it on there for a minute and let that wax that's in there loosen up.
I sometimes think I need 2 plates.
No, you know what? I always think I need 2 plates. Yeah, just one for pots and then one to actually paint. Yeah, get yourself another plate. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, some
Because
or a
there's
big one.
like not enough room. I have to paint here and this.
Yeah, I mean, of course, yeah.
So.
I mean, you could have 3 of them. I mean, really.
Yeah.
I definitely, when
They're
I
not that expensive either.
no, they're not that expensive. As long as just check your, you know, put them on different sockets because you don't want them to blow fuse. Sometimes the griddles will be fine, but then when you put the heat gun on, that'll blow the fuse. Just put that on a separate, put that on a separate extension cord or on a power bar.
Or just in a different, yeah.
Yeah, in a different socket.
I could put the heat in a different socket.
Yeah.
The 2 of these should be okay, no?
Yeah, they should be okay. I mean, I don't know how much ampage you have, but you're in your house and I mean, it just depends.
Yeah. Okay.
So I would put that at the bottom of her dress, but honestly, like I would follow the shading of the dress and I would probably put it in there, not in white. I would put it in there in gray or medium gray or black, right? I would put it in there in a dark color. And if you don't, or dark purple, I would, yeah.
Like this?
Yeah, I think it's gorgeous. I would do it all along the bottom of her dress, but like maybe in a dark gray.
Okay. And don't bring any of the pink into it.
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah. Oh, see, I forgot this brush had white. Ay, ay, ay.
That's okay. The gray will dominate the white. The dark color will dominate the white. You shouldn't have much of a struggle.
Okay.
Darkness overcomes lightness, as we know from all of our English philosophy books.
Yeah.
Darkness looms heavy-handed.
Yeah.
Usually the winner.
Okay, I'm gonna go for it.
Okay. So yeah, you just have to figure out how thick that lace is and how much wax it's gonna take to, yeah. And put on more than you think you need. And you could also do a gradient. So if you want to go, and then you're gonna move it over.
Right.
How did it turn out? Good?
Interesting.
Oh, good. Yeah, move it over. Now you might want to
Doesn't
clean
look
it
like
again.
this lace, but,
You might want to clean it again. The stencil, the lace.
oh,
You feel
okay.
like you might want to clean it again. Because I feel like the cleaning probably made it really good.
Yeah, it's like,
That's nice. Yeah, it's nice. It's beautiful. Yeah, I love it. I love it.
so now cleaning this, maybe I'm gonna remove that. I was thinking about getting another one, but I thought, no, I felt guilty.
No, get them. I mean, look for
But
them on
it's-
sale. I think like sometimes people have them on sale, like $19.99.
Because I'm like, I don't do much work, why am I getting two? But
Well, if it's just gonna make your life easier while you're working. It's not a huge purchase.
that's right. Okay,
Besides, they break all the time. So you might as well have a backup. Just say that you need it as a backup because they break all the time.
oh, they do,
Yeah, sometimes, well, the temperature dial I mean, I use mine every day though. Like they're probably not,
yeah, of course.
they're probably not meant to be used all day, every day. Like I use mine, but I mean, I'm just saying that that's like a workhorse. That has to work hard.
So you have a backup.
I need a new one. Actually, I need like 2 new ones. I'm gonna try to look for some bigger ones too. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, if it was bigger, you're right, then,
You know what helps though is you know how you have that pan. If you buy aluminum, if you buy like aluminum bread loaf pans, they fit a little bit closer together and they
oh,
compact the pan because of the handle. I think takes up more space than it needs to, and it's
oh,
also round.
you mean
So
this.
yeah, so if you want to buy aluminum loaf pans, you can put your wax medium and your mud in the loaf
Well,
pan.
I have these
Yeah,
loaf
those.
pans,
Yeah,
they're disposable.
yeah, those are
A
there's
little flimsy, so
They're-
this kind of stays stronger.
okay. If you're happy, right? It's just an alternative.
Yeah, so I'm gonna fuse it.
Okay, so yep, fuse it and then, but don't fuse it too much because you don't want that pattern to disappear.
Uh-huh. And then I wouldn't want to go up here anymore, right?
The only other place that you could possibly go would be like at her waistline, as if she has some type of like corset or waist, and a little bit at her bust. But I feel like it's too big.
This piece is too big, yeah.
I feel like the pattern is too big. So
Yeah.
you can fudge it. If you have something smaller, you can use something else, or you could use just a part of that, or you could just do like a little bit of you could almost do like just a couple little dots.
How about
Or-
like this?
Yeah, you could use a little stripe of that. I mean, maybe she was wearing like a little belt or had some type of waistline, or she had some lace at the waistline. I mean, you can kind of make something up.
Okay,
And then maybe also something at her bot, her. It's fun to sort of play, like you're playing dress up. I think that's too big. I mean, unless you wanted to put a couple of those little flowers in there. That's a cool stencil. I like that leafy one.
I'm sorry, what?
I like that stencil that you have, that leafy one, that stencil. Yeah, that one's nice.
But not for this, right?
No, but I love that stencil. Yeah,
Yeah, it's pretty big.
I love it. Where'd you find that one?
I think it was either Amazon or scrapbook.com.
Yeah, I love it. Oh, yeah, it's nice. Super, super duper. So another style of kind of
Any of these tiny things?
yeah, I almost feel, yeah, you could do those, sure. See how they put them on there, see how they look.
Okay.
I mean, it's trial and error, right? So put
Yeah.
them on there, see if you like them.
Should I fuse this first?
Sure.
Okay. Her waist.
And but look, you can literally, if you don't feel comfortable using the stencil in such a tiny little area, you could just use the brush. Like if you just use,
My hand.
yeah, you could just put little marks on there that are suggestive of some type of like, you don't have to be so determined to illustrate something there, or use a stencil.
Even with this, because my hand shape, the whole thing is not going to get covered.
Just use the brush, use the side of a little brush and just put some light gray or
Yes.
yeah, just dab the brush on there along and then put, it's like you're trying to suggest maybe like some decorative like beading or embellishment. I mean, don't drive yourself nuts over it. Like,
my hands shake way too much.
right. You have to sort of estimate how far the shake's gonna take and when's it gonna come back and where's it gonna land.
Yeah.
You're like, wait, it's over here. No, it's coming back. It's over here. It's coming back. Wait till it comes
I
back.
wish I could. I don't think that's, I don't know, just a few.
That's perfect. Yeah, and that's so much better than a stencil. I mean, it just looks more natural. And then I would do a couple right on her boob or at her breast, the top of her chest line.
Oh, okay. Oops.
And also, was she wearing a veil in that picture?
It looks like it, yes.
Okay. So you might want to do like a little bit of a veil-y stroke kind of like over her head from her hairline down, just so it looks like she's wearing a veil.
You mean with this dark color?
No, I would do it with like a light, like that milky wax.
Just so I understand, you're saying, see, you see this is
Yeah.
her veil
Oh, that's
line.
her veil line. Yeah, I see the veil line. Yeah. Oh, it goes over her arm.
Yeah, it seems like she's wrapped in it.
Right. But her forehead and her top of her head are exposed.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I would just leave it. I like what you did with the wax, so that's perfect. So fuse it.
I'm thinking I should remove part of this.
Well, I was going to say you don't need to remove it. You just need to tone it down. So one of the ways, so again, this is like one of those decision makings. Like I would now say like, okay, there's enough wax on here. Let me start painting this with pigment sticks so I can push and pull what I want to keep and what I want to hide.
Okay.
Right? So by using gray and white and like whatever accent color you want, you sort of start to like push push your viewer's eye around and keep what you want and get rid of what you don't. So rather than scrape off on her hair, I would just take gray or graphite gray pigments and blend that wax into her hair.
In there. Okay.
So that it can be there, but it doesn't have to be so obviously there.
Okay.
I love what you did with the lace at the bottom. I think that's beautiful.
But this, I think some of it should come off because it's standing.
So I wouldn't take it off. I would take a brush, a wax medium, and go over it.
Oh, okay.
Because you built up the sides a lot. Like, why not build up her dress so it looks more balanced? Like, I would just put wax medium over the parts that you want to be softer.
Okay,
right?
I'm just gonna get another brush. This is way too dirty.
So again, you see how we're like choosing either adding more wax or scraping as kind of having an equal result. But I like to sometimes add more wax because if you're just constantly scraping, you're going to end up back at the photo. And that's not really an important part of the photo. Like the important part of the photo is more like her face or her bouquet, Whereas the dress is sort of like third in line if we're creating like a little hierarchy.
Okay. So tell me what. I went a little too, I have to.
That's
fuse
okay.
it.
That's okay. Fuse it. And then I actually like the little splatters. I mean, I just think they're fun.
Okay.
I mean, you can decide if you want to scrape them off or not, but I like them. And then remember every once in a while to clean your scraper. Is your scraper all gunked up?
Yeah.
It's really, I know you gotta remember, I know you need like an assistant, like cleaning your tools. So every once in a while, you gotta clean your tools.
I hate to wipe off the paint because I'm like, I could use it. I don't want to waste it, but okay.
Yeah, but you want your tools to be, you know,
Right.
otherwise you're putting like dirt back into your piece. You want your piece to stay clean. So you don't feel bad about cleaning your tools.
And also what I noticed is this medium is kind of yellow compared to white.
It's not white, yeah, it's yellow. Well, the medium has resin in it, and the resin is actually very yellow. So you see a yellow cast, especially when you're working in whites, because now you're comparing it to white. If you're
Yeah,
working,
exactly.
yeah, if you're working with you know, other colors, you don't notice it as much, but it definitely does look yellow when you compare it to bright white. Absolutely. But I don't mind. I mean, I don't mind it. It's like aged. It looks, that's why I actually kind of like it.
You like the antique look.
Yeah. And then once you start painting it, I mean, yeah. I think once you start painting, that's why I like to use like some neutral whites so that you're not creating such a noticeable contrast between bright white and the wax, right?
Yeah.
So it's like the neutral white or natural white is like, it's more like earthy color, you know, like concrete or something. It's not as pure bright white. Okay, so if you're happy with if you're happy with your wax, you could start to you know, shade her dress. And this is unfortunately, unfortunate, her dress is going to end up being gray, right?
Yeah.
We talked about this earlier because her background is so bright white, which is fine. So it's just going to be, we know in reality it's white, but it's going to, it's dark. So it's going to look gray, but we can put some little white glimmers in it. And then you kind of need to figure out like the curtains, is it fabric with stripes on it? Or are you actually going to go for like the white translucent background with the ribbons, which I like
that. Yeah.
I like the idea of the ribbon. So then each ribbon kind of has to be painted as if it's a ribbon, and it will have like a highlight and a shadow for each ribbon, which I think is better than trying to make it look like it's a striped
thing. Yeah, I know this stripe was bothering me.
Yeah, I'd make it more individual, like it's like, you know, outside at some festival and there's just all these streamers, you know, fabric or paper streamers hanging from, that's so beautiful. So I like that idea. And again, you're creating a fantasy, right?
Right, it's not real. Yeah.
It's not real. So you're having fun with it and you like the fantasy. So just how can you best illustrate the fantasy, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is natural white.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I don't really use titanium white except for very little highlights. I don't paint with titanium white. It's way too white. Nothing in my house that's white is even white anymore. So everything is like aged. I don't know, bright white is just frightening for me. I can't maintain that status. That's intimidating.
Yes.
I like things a little bit softer, like ivory.
I'm painting over her dress
Uh-huh.
with these.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, perfect. Beautiful. Yeah, you're gonna shade her dress and like maybe at the bottom a little bit darker and then the lighter spots a little bit lighter. And then you can put some highlights on it. I think it's gonna be beautiful. And then you can decide to paint her bouquet. Like you can put red. You can put red in the, what color were her flowers?
White and soft pink, I think.
Okay. Well, you can put those colors in the bouquet on top of the dark color.
Okay.
Even though it's dark gray or whatever, you can put those colors in there.
Okay.
And you get, if that thing's bugging you on her head, you can go ahead and put some dark gray over those, over
Oh,
the
right, that's what I
her
was
head.
thinking. Right.
Right, like sometimes I just go for things that I know are sort of like irking, bugging me, and I'll just like fix them.
Yeah.
Is that better?
It doesn't cover it, but it's, okay. So do you think, like, I went darker here, should I
Yeah.
go all the way to here with this?
All the way to the bottom?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
I love the lace at the bottom. It's like my favorite part. I love that. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it turned out nice.
And again, like this is all like your style. I mean, you could put a little bit of, dark red or pink in the, like light bounces around. You could put, not like it's a changing, like you're coloring her dress, but just as like a little sparkly, accenty color if you wanted to.
Where?
In the, oh, that looks so nice. So you're starting to really ground her. Yeah, that looks beautiful.
It is getting grounded. Maybe
Yeah,
a
it's
little
really
more
grounded.
here.
You can shade, right? You can, anywhere that you see in her dress that's dark, you can add the dark gray, and anywhere that you see that's light, you can add some lighter gray or some even white. You could add some white on where the veil is. Yep. And then I would hand paint her flowers, like put pinks in there.
Oh, did I mess it up?
No, why? If you need to clean it off, just wipe it off with a paper towel.
Okay. And then,
I think her hair looks fine. I don't see that pink ribbon on it unless you want to bring it closer to me. I think it looks fine. I mean, I don't
okay.
want it to look too perfect because that sort of ruins the play. Okay, so now,
I actually like this, what I did here over her.
yeah,
So I wonder if I can do a little more.
right. So maybe the ribbons are a little bit busy. So you can start to balance out the ribbons with the pigment stick, either in a, you can use any of those colors. You can use neutral white. You could use pale blue. Like you could use light brown. Like there's
Straight over it,
paint with pigment sticks.
but like over the ribbons.
Yeah. So start to see how they're gonna tone. I mean, I wouldn't use the same exact colors that I used on her. I would switch to a different color field just so it doesn't look flat. So like for whatever reason, you could use a very light blue.
I don't know how light, this is, I think the lightest I have.
Okay, so add some natural white to it. Add some of that natural white to it, and maybe even a little bit of gray. I want it to be not so, that color, I like that color, but it's very strong color. It's like Tiffany's color.
No, I can't find my white.
Your white? Oh, you just
Isn't it right here?
Is that, Is it under is it under the paper towel? No.
No,
It's having it's not under the panel.
it's not on the floor.
Did
It's
you
not
put it
on-
back in
Oh,
the-
here it is.
Okay, there you go.
I don't know, this happens to me a lot.
Yeah, it happens to me too. Now, I often find myself painting in pinks and blues, and so to break that up a little bit, I try to put another color in there, like brown or
Just to break it up.
well, yeah. Otherwise, everything I make would be like pink and blue. I mean, I just go. That's like my go-to. I don't know why. I mean, I don't
I
necessarily.
think you were right. This is like, is that too much blue?
No, I like it. I like it. Do you like it?
I do like it
I
better.
like it. Yeah. I mean,
I
just
think
go
that
gentle. Just
pink
go
is-
gentle with the blue, though. Don't make it too blue.
Uh-huh. Get more
So,
white.
if anything, like the blue is just to make it not just all black and white. You want it to be like a cool, breezy. I mean, you could probably be using like a shade of a purple too. Like if you wanted to warm, you could add a little bit of red to it to make it a little bit more like lavender. Might be nice. Because blue is very cold, so warm it up, you'd add red or
Okay.
yellow. And you don't really want, I don't think you want it to be green.
Okay, no.
So I would add red instead of yellow. It's okay. It's okay. You mad at me now? Okay, go on.
So this is the order then with glaze kind of finished, not finished, but
No, it is a finish. It's like a top coat. And it kind of just pushes and pulls like all of your encaustic and all your ideas kind of together. And you can just sort of make it look, merge together. It's like blending technique, right?
right.
It's kind of like, yeah, varnishing, like even an oil painting, like when a lot of people finish an oil painting, they do a couple layers of some type of varnish, which sort of like just makes all the paints like harmonious with each other. So it's a little bit like that. It's like you're just putting all the little touches of lights and darks and color. And you could go ahead and use that red and that natural white and make your pink. I think
I did a little bit of the red and the white.
I think it looks beautiful. Yeah. I like it. I would make it a little bit lighter, like around her, in front of her face.
Here.
Yeah, with the natural white and then a little bit of pink. How do you feel about it? Do you like it?
I like it better, but I feel I still have to do something to it too.
Well, if you want to get that pop back, you can put, I love the floor. You can paint her bouquet, which might just make it like pop, right?
So just like little.
Yeah, I just use my finger or a brush and I just put like little pops of color. I don't try to paint the flowers. I just take a little brush and I just put little dab, white and pink or red. And you might want to add a little bit of green because, there was probably green in there. Yeah, and you might want to add a little bit of green close to the bottom.
Okay. And
because there probably was green leaves or whatever. You could add a little bit of yellow to that green too.
oh yeah, okay. I don't think I have pink if I wanted to
Well, you can make pink with red and white.
with red and white.
And I think, I mean, it's 6 now, so I think this is a good place. I think you should live with it. I think they're part of like, yeah, I think it's really nice. I mean, I think that you should live with it.
Okay,
And
I
so
think this worked out well,
I love that part. I love
and
that
I
part.
think this worked out,
Yeah.
and this is looking okay. I just have to work with that
I
more.
think that could go, I think that some of those ribbony things need to get sort of white, literally whited out with a nice off-white pigment stick.
Okay,
But you can work more on that either before I see you, but also put it on the wall somewhere where you can look at it.
and see what I think.
Yeah, you want to catch a glimpse of it